We're learning Iran's president has warned that the tiniest invasion by Israel would bring a massive and harsh response as the region braces for potential Israeli retaliation after Iran's attack over the weekend. Joining us live this morning to give us the very latest developments is Fox News Channel's Trey Yings. Trey, good morning to you. What can you share with us at this hour?
Janae, good morning. We do know the Iranians are once again threatening Israel following that massive Iranian attack over the weekend that included ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and drones. Hundreds of them launched toward Israel. The Israelis meeting this week to determine what their response will be. Israel's war cabinet was discussing here in Tel Aviv at the Kiryat, Israel's version of the Pentagon, to try and figure out a response that will walk a tightrope, one that doesn't lead the Middle East into a broader regional war, but also sends a message of deterrence to Iran. Now, the Americans also hope Israel will be conservative in their response. They don't want this to unravel into a broader situation that could drag in the United States. And that's why yesterday, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan released a statement saying the United States is going to increase sanctions against Iran's drones and ballistic missile programs. Now, this is critical because the economic part of all of this could put more pressure on Iran. And if it is picked up by other allies of Israel around the world, it may give Israel an off-ramp to strike very specific targets in Iran, but not launch a wider campaign against the Islamic Republic. But as we speak, there are still a lot of developments on Israel's southern and northern fronts. We do know that just this morning there was a rocket or a drone fired into northern Israel that injured at least 7 people. And this sort of back and forth across the northern front remains active. And remember, the group firing on northern Israel is the Iran-backed Lebanese militant group Hezbollah, the largest Iranian proxy in the Middle East. Janae?
Trey, always a pleasure speaking with you, getting the very latest developments. And you mentioned those missile and drone strikes. About this time yesterday, you actually saw it up close and personal with the rest of us through our Live Now from Fox feed. I want to ask you, seeing that in real time, what picture did it paint about the severity of this conflict?
It really just shows how large the missiles are that were launched at Israel. I think that was the most striking. We saw just the fuel cell from an Iranian ballistic missile that landed in Israeli territory, and it was 36 feet long. And officials told us that's just about 70% of the entire missile that can carry a warhead that is close to 1,000 pounds of explosives. And so we're talking about huge missiles that are being launched toward Israel. More than 110 of them were part of that attack. Reports indicate around 50% failed upon launch. But it really just paints a picture of how severe the destruction and damage could be in Israel if it weren't for that international coalition that used fighter jets to shoot down many of the missiles and drones outside of Israeli territory. And then, of course, Israel's most advanced air defense systems that engaged those missiles and drones overhead over the weekend. Janae?
Trey Yings joining us live this morning out in Israel with Fox News Channel. Trey, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you for joining us this morning, giving us the very latest developments. You be safe as you work to keep us informed.
Thank you.